Good afternoon. Welcome to COVID Walks number 3. Today, I want to talk about risk and denial. Why do we deny risks that we know are dangerous? This is something that's perplexed social scientists for some years. Risk and denial is a very important subject in risk management because if you look at people's behaviour, what we see are examples of irrationality daily. People smoking, people drinking excessively, people living excessively unhealthy lifestyles, eating too much, not taking sufficient exercise. These are common examples of things that we do that harm us. We're perfectly well aware that they harm us, but we continue to do them. And we're all guilty. We all do them. Wouldn't it be lovely if we could just close our eyes and imagine that COVID-19 didn't exist? Wouldn't it be lovely if we could just go on holiday, cross a border, go to a foreign country, eat different food, enjoy a different climate? At the moment, these are things that we can only imagine. Wouldn't it be lovely if we could go to the cinema or the theatre or go out dancing? These are all things that we used to do, we want to do, but we can't do this. People are starting to get tired of this lockdown. It's been going on for some weeks now, and people are starting to push back against it. We're seeing in America, in the UK, and in some other parts of the world too, deniers coming out, people saying, no, it doesn't exist, it's perfectly safe. We don't need to do all these things. Look, we're damaging our world, we're damaging our economy, we're damaging our social system. I refuse to wear one of those masks. These are the things that people are saying. And please do wear a mask. Don't fall into this trap. This is dangerous. And we're seeing governments pushing back in the opposite direction. Governments taking emergency powers. The UK government has announced emergency powers for the next 2 years. Do they actually need such power? We're seeing, for example, a couple of days ago, the chief scientific officer for the British government having to resign because of an indiscretion in terms of compliance with the code, the lockdown code, even though that failure of compliance was nearly 5 weeks ago. It's mysterious that he only resigned a couple of days ago. Why are we having difficulty understanding these simple messages of safety and danger? 30,000 people at least, and it's likely the number is much more, have died from COVID-19. That's 30,000 real people who had real lives, who had real families, who had real friends. This is a serious risk. Now, the numbers in the UK are very high, and the numbers in the US are also very high, and this will be addressed in a later talk. And clearly, they are partly the result of the spread of the disease and partly due to the policies followed by the regimes in different countries in terms of trying to shut down the disease. There's also been pushback, not just from extreme groups and far-right groups, but also from business itself. Unless you happen to be running a supermarket, COVID-19 has not been good for business. Go to a car showroom, see if anybody's actually come in to buy a car. Clothing, unless you are going to buy something on the internet, you're not going to get most things at the moment. This is an absolute disaster on the high street economically. We're going to see GDP just wiped out. This crisis is going to bring about serious changes in the world that we live in. People are going to start questioning things that they've done in the past and why they can't continue to do them. Why, for example, do I need to go to the office every day if for the past 5 weeks I've been able to work from home? And if you can successfully work from home, then why shouldn't this become the norm? It's good for the environment, it's good for everything concerned. Last point I wish to raise is about profit and loss. Who's profiting from this crisis and who's going to lose from this crisis? There is concern that these emergency powers could be misused in a way to benefit certain political motives. The emergency powers are particularly useful to a government which is hell-bent on Brexit. A Brexit without a deal that's going to cause more economic damage. And what about the people who are going to lose out? The people who are going to lose their jobs? The people who've already lost their jobs? The people who are not making any money because they rely on going out there to do their business? Plumbers, plasterers, electricians, builders. People who make society possible. These people will be losers in the short term, and that loss will turn to anger and eventually blame. And I have concerns about serious public order. How are we going to maintain public order in the ensuing situation? Some countries seem to be better prepared. I'm very lucky to be here in Germany, but even Germany, which has almost been textbook in its management of COVID-19, is struggling with some of the issues. There's a big car plant down the road that produces Audis. They've gone back to work on Monday. They're producing cars, but who on earth is going to buy them? I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and thank you very much for listening to COVID Walks number 3. Goodbye.